Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Since 70% of our planet is covered by water, mankind has had to find ways of transporting military hardware over and along bodies of water. Oceans and rivers are not only a means of transport, but also obstacles that sometimes must be overcome. From massive cargo vessels to vessels intended to transport vehicles and cargo from ship to shore, the undertaking is often a logistical mountain to climb. Military ship-to-shore logistics in older civilizations also required careful planning and execution. Their strong wooden ships were either rowed by people or powered by the wind. They would stop at sea to load smaller boats or rafts. The soldiers would then row to the beach, often in the dark or in the middle of a battle, to drop off warriors and essential supplies.
Fire!
In our technologically advanced age, we have found easier ways to handle combined joint logistics over the shore or CJ lots. This is what the military calls a system where they get logistics to the shore without using ports. The U.S. Navy and Marine Corps use the Improved Navy Lighterage System, or INLS, which is very advanced, flexible, and made up of separate modules. Its main goal is to make it easier for armed forces to keep going during military operations, especially when access to regular ports is limited or not possible. The INLS comprises many modular parts that can be put together in different ways, depending on the logistics needs of the mission. It can be used as a lighter, powered or not, a roll-on, roll-off discharge facility, or a causeway ferry because it is versatile. With a carrying capacity of up to 150 short tons, the INLS can carry a lot of weight. It can move many kinds of cargo, like containers, vehicles, tools, and supplies. This helps move heavy tactical vehicles and large loads, such as shipping containers, thereby speeding up and improving the efficiency of beach-based logistics operations. Military Sea Lift Command, or MSC, falls under the U.S. Navy and sea lifts all U.S. military equipment. MSC uses roll-on, roll-off, or ro-ro ships, which can lower a ramp so vehicles can ride onto a port. Without a port, ro-ro ships have cranes with which they place vehicles onto the INLS. Vehicles, such as high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, or Humvees, can simply be lifted from their cargo hold and placed on the INLS. Because each Humvee must be picked up and lowered individually, this system takes some time, but the job gets done. Once the INLS is fully loaded, it makes its way to the beach. INLS can also be used as a causeway if required. Landing Craft Utility, or LCU, is a means for the U.S. Navy to move vehicles from ships to the shore. An LCU can either land vehicles right onto the beach or onto the INLS, where the beach may be inaccessible. This is accomplished using the long landing ramp at the front of the LCU. In this way, the U.S. Marine Corps can move its vehicles to where they're required at a beachhead. Everything from main battle tanks to the infamous HIMARS, or High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, can easily be moved to shore.
So we're doing joint operations with the Army for an amphibious operation, and what we're doing is we're trying to make sure that the HIMARS artillery rocket system, what we're doing is that it fits on the naval vessels so we can conduct the amphibious operations from island to island throughout the Indo-PACOM area.
Moving vehicles, troops, and cargo to shore is something the U.S. Marine Corps specializes in. Usually during combat operations, ships such as the San Antonio-class LPD or Landing Platform Dock stand out as one of the best amphibious assault ships globally. LPDs can not only carry a full Marine expeditionary force of 2,000 Marines, but they can also launch aircraft, various vessels, and amphibious vehicles. The San Antonio class can launch one LCU or two LCACs, or Landing Craft Air Cushion. The vessel can also launch up to 14 amphibious vehicles, such as Assault Amphibious Vehicles, or AAVs, or the Amphibious Combat Vehicle, or ACV. HIMARS is also operated by the U.S. Marine Corps, with several batteries able to go operational. Using shoot and scoot tactics, the HIMARS can be deployed by ship or aircraft, fire its rockets, and move away immediately to avoid counter-battery fire. Trials have been conducted where the M142 HIMARS was even used from the deck of a ship. It can launch 6 MLRS, or Multiple Launch Rocket System rockets, one MGM-140 ATACMS. MLRS has a range of 9 kilometers, but the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATACMS, has a range of up to 300 kilometers. The newer Precision Strike Missile has a range of over 500 kilometers. Getting U.S. forces to shore is not the end of the exercise. Railways are often utilized by the U.S. military to transport their equipment to and from destinations further inland. There are various methods available, such as road, barge, or rail transport. Rail transport is one of the cheapest methods, especially with railways leading through large military bases. For rail operations, flat cars are used. And motor T operators, or drivers, are used to drive vehicles onto these flat cars. It's a tight fit. Therefore, the drivers need to know what they're doing. Certain vehicles and shipping containers cannot be driven onto rail cars, so military forklifts can be used. But cranes are used for much heavier loads. In the U.S. military, the Oshkosh M1070, together with its trailer, is utilized to transport main battle tanks, like the M1 Abrams. Coupled with the M1070 is the M1000 trailer, onto which tanks are driven for road transport. Because they do not have engines, the M1000 has to be lifted by crane onto the railcar. On its own, the semi-trailer weighs more than 50,000 pounds, or 22 tons. To complete the exercise, heavy machinery operators of the Marines are used, together with a host of support personnel. Rail transport may be cheaper, but loading and unloading trains is logistically slower. The U.S. military often uses trucks, and so does the Bundeswehr, or German army. In Germany, Rheinmetall is an arms industry giant, producing trucks and other systems for the German military. There are 5 different types of flatbed trucks in the Rheinmetall Man Military Vehicles, or MMV line. The HX2, SX45, HX60, HX58, and HX77. They are flexible logistic vehicles with high mobility and payload configurations that can be used for a wide range of military tasks, such as transporting cargo, carrying troops, towing artillery, moving fuel and water, and doing recovery work. Be it the RMMV or the M1070, military logistics trucks do not have the advantage of tracks, but still need to get where the cargo is needed. In snow and icy conditions, drivers can utilize their snow chains. Snow chains are placed around the standard rubber wheels to provide additional grip and, therefore, traction. For this type of training, the U.S. military can go to Alaska, but often does snow and ice training in Norway, a NATO member. Exercise Trident Juncture is an annual exercise that teaches U.S. drivers how to apply snow chains and how to drive on snow or icy roads. Another opportunity for U.S. forces, such as the Marines, to conduct snow training is during exercise Snow Panzer in Germany. The training helps the Marines become better at fighting in cold weather and on mountains in the Arctic, something European nations are good at. The experience they gain here will help with Arctic operations in the future. This type of training not only helps with tactics and strategy, but also helps the soldiers or Marines to keep functioning in these types of cold. Since drone or UAV warfare has become so important, this allows the Marines to see how their UAVs operate under extreme cold conditions. U.S. military operations have not taken place in Arctic conditions since the war in Korea. Ice and snow training play an important part in preparing them for future Arctic combat operations. Fortunately, tracked vehicles have an advantage, and the U.S. has many tracked vehicles, from the Abrams to the Bradley fighting vehicle. More specialized vehicles include the renowned BV-206 tracked articulated all-terrain vehicle. Not only are these vehicles proven under these types of conditions, but they are also light, low cost, and can transport 2.2 tons of cargo, or up to 17 troops. Also known as the Hägglunds, it can reach a speed of 65 kilometers per hour. Hokudein Training Area, Hokkaido, Japan, often offers the U.S. military chances for snow driver training. Vehicles such as the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, or JLTV, are meant to replace the Humvee eventually, and their ability to drive in snow and on ice is crucial. For that reason, snow driver training is often arranged. drivers are given the opportunity to drive the JLTV and trucks with and without snow chains. They are then clearly able to see the advantages of using snow chains. It does not take long for drivers to understand the intricacies of driving their vehicles under these conditions. Keeping U.S. military forces moving requires a massive logistical tail, as well as the drills and capabilities of individual soldiers or Marines. For major logistical operations, ro-ro ships are used in conjunction with INLS. More combat-oriented landings are handled by the U.S. Marine Corps, who are specialists in amphibious landings. The U.S. utilizes its rail network effectively in moving its heavy equipment, or makes use of a range of military trucks. Arctic conditions do not hold the U.S. military back. With regular training with NATO and allies, the U.S. is sure to weather any storm in Arctic regions. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.